Okay, Trustee Topping, if you want to go ahead and share that motion.
Sure. To all of us, that the Upper Grand District School Board require masks to be worn indoors for all students, staff, and visitors, allowing for appropriate medical exemptions. That school staff explore alternatives such as face shields for students unable to wear masks, and that the staff approach compliance with parents and younger students in JK to grade 3 with a focus on education. And I'd like to change the last one, number 4, that there will be progressive disciplinary action for students having difficulty complying.
Sorry, I'm already unmuted. I was looking for that. Okay, thank you, Trustee Topping. So I know there were some other questions. I'm just looking to the group to ask what we want to do. Do we want to put this motion aside for a second and work through the rest of the questions and do it as a unit together? Or do you want to deal with it now?
No, I totally agree with you.
Yep. Trustee Busuttil actually has just pointed out that the motion takes precedence. So we'll deal with the motion first, and then we'll go back to the questions. Thank you, Trustee Busuttil. Trustee Topping has put a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion regarding the motion? It looks like Trustee Campbell. Okay, so I'm just going to make a note of the rest of the speakers list from the previous questions, and then I'll start a new one for the motion. So go ahead, Trustee Campbell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could please ask that number 4 be repeated, please.
Certainly, Trustee Campbell, that there be progressive disciplinary action for students having difficulty complying. I'm taking out the no and putting in progressive disciplinary action. As stated by Superintendent Slater.
Thank you. I have concerns with part 4 about no disciplinary action. The having difficulty leaves everything wide open. It could be a student that refuses to comply, or I can't support part 4 as it is. I think that if people are to wear masks, they are to wear them unless there is an appropriate medical reason. And I have some concerns about progressive discipline, particularly with the way item 4 is written. So I would request, please, that this motion be divided and number 4 separated out, please, because I can't support it the way it is. Thank you.
Madam Chair, it strikes me there could be some misunderstandings here, because the screen shows that there would be no disciplinary action. And I believe that Trustee Topping doesn't agree with that either, Trustee Campbell. So she has, in her mind, removed the word no. You can see that it's the 4th word over, and she's put the word progressive in there. So it sounds to me as if Trustee Topping and you are both thinking that there would be progressive disciplinary action for the students who weren't complying.
Madam Director.
But the problem is the motion as written is not what Trustee Topping is wanting to put on the floor. Am I making any sense to you, Trustee Campbell?
Yes, Madam Director. I do not have an issue with the wording. I understand exactly what Trustee Topping said. I have difficulty with the last half of it about students having difficulty complying. In my opinion, that just leaves everything wide open for everybody who says, I can't comply, or worse, I won't comply. I just cannot support that motion regarding progressive disciplinary action. It seems to me that if you do not have a legitimate reason not to wear a mask, then you are, it will be dealt with. That's the way I feel about it. So I cannot support number 4. So I would please request that we could, for the motion that number 4 be separated out of. Perhaps it will more than likely pass. I just cannot support that particular item. Thank you.
So, Trustee Campbell, it's Trustee McNeil here. Just so I understand, are you wanting the motion to stand as it is, where there's no disciplinary action? Or are you wanting where Trustee Topping has said there will be disciplinary action?
Madam Chair, I totally believe in disciplinary action. I just have concern with the term about students having difficulty complying. That leaves a whole endless array of reasons that could be given for not wearing a mask.
Madam Chair, perhaps Trustee Topping could just do slightly different wording. To me, the phrase somebody has difficulty complying is a euphemism for saying that they are being a stubborn mule and won't comply. And I think that would be fine with you. I think it's the word difficulty. It's kind of like you say someone who passes away dies. Well, somebody who has difficulty complying to me is insubordinate. But Trustee Topping, would it be possible, because I think you and Trustee Campbell do agree, could you possibly find some wording that does not have the word difficulty in it that might suggest that there's some sort of medical, or it's something other than insubordinate? So could you think about your wording? And then I think you two will not be at odds. Madam Chair, that would be my suggestion.
Madam Chair, I agree with that totally.
Trustee Topping, you're muted. Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry, the dogs were barking. I'm fine with that. It says in number 1 that allowing for appropriate medical exemptions. I am fine that there will be progressive disciplinary action for students not wearing their mask.
Trustee Campbell, does that seem better to you?
Yes, I think so. It is. The problem is I don't have it to see. Progressive disciplinary action for students not wearing masks.
Yes.
Either that or Madam Chair, it could be something as simple as progressive discipline for students who refuse to comply, because that, I think, is what Trustee Topping is thinking about, people who willfully won't comply.
I like that.
About medical that too, or not Chair. About somebody with special needs or anything of that nature. This is about someone who won't comply because they're being stubborn and saying, I won't. So thank you, Trustee Topping, if you would ponder about progressive discipline for students who won't comply.
Oh, that looks terrific. There. Thank you so much. I'm grateful for that. I hope Trustee Campbell thinks that it's okay also.
I will support that, Madam Chair, and Trustee
Well,
Topping.
There's a story with a happy ending.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers.
Okay, so Trustee Campbell, you're good and you don't need to separate items anymore?
Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Okay, I will move on next to Trustee Lusgarten-Evoy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, great work, everybody, on figuring out the semantics for this motion. Thank you, Trustee Topping. I 100% agree with you. I do have one question of concern, though. So my colleagues all know that I live with serious lung disease and operate at a very minimal amount of lung function, and yet still can absolutely wear the mask. And I have seen many studies that showed, you know, it doesn't impede the amount of oxygen or air that we're actually taking in. And I've literally sat down and tried the test and found it to be true. My question comes down to being, will this be a doctor's note that's required? And are we having some clarity around what it takes to be exempt? Because I think at least some guidelines around what it takes to be exempt. I worry that people are going to start pushing buttons and finding their ways to manipulate it. So I believe Trustee Topping added this, I'd like to see something else in place. So if you can't wear a mask, then you will wear a shield. But I don't like the idea that because you have a reason that you wear nothing, because I worry that we're going to find, invent reasons to get away with anything. So at least the shield will help where a mask is not being worn. So to sum it up, I'd like to see some clarity around or is it possible to have clarity around why and who would actually be exempt? And B, is there the backup of shields instead of masks for those that can't wear shields or masks?
So Trustee Lusgarten-Evoy, I wonder, well, maybe Dr. Rogers might know best who to direct this to. I think we're also getting into beyond just, actually, no, sorry, we're not, never mind. Dr. Rogers, would you maybe direct this to someone to answer?
Well, Madam Chair, I know from listening to Dr. Mercer this afternoon that a face shield protects your eyes, but it's not a substitute for a mask. I know that because I asked her a question about it.
Yep.
I don't know whether we could talk about face coverings or whether we could go back and have a conversation with the superintendents or with the medical officer of health. I'm trying to imagine, Trustee Evoy, what it is that you're looking for. Maybe you could help me a little bit.
Certainly, Director Rogers. I believe Trustee Topping mentioned, and I invite her to pipe in. I'm afraid I can't see you, but I believe that she mentioned where people had a reason not to wear a face covering, would they at least be asked to wear a shield? Because it's far less intrusive, far easier to breathe, far fewer issues, see through, so you don't struggle with things. And I'm just
okay. Thank you. That is in recommendation number 2.
Yes.
I apologize. I can't see anything. So thank you. I just wanted to confirm and to thank Trustee Topping and to confirm that that's what I heard, is that we will be asked to use shields if you can't wear a mask.
Yes, recommendation 2 says that school staff explore alternatives such as face shields for students unable to wear masks.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying. I absolutely support the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Lusgarten-Evoy. Next up, we have Trustee Foley.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you. I support the motion. Initially, I had tapped in there specifically because I was concerned about the wording of item 4. So I'm quite content with the way it's written now. I would just like to add that I think that the leash of progressive discipline should be a very short one. If somebody can comply, then perhaps, we do have an alternative, synchronous learning. And, I honestly feel that we shouldn't be endangering, the student population for one person who just continually refuses to adhere to the rules. So otherwise, I'm quite content with the motion.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Foley. Next up, I have Trustee Edwards.
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. Trustee Topping, I support this, but I'm just seeking some clarification. I'm not understanding between 1 and 3. 1 is saying that we require, and then 3 is saying that staff approach compliance with parents and younger students. Can you just clarify what you mean?
I think, Jen, what I would probably mean by that is that someone who was not in favor of wearing the mask, that the staff would approach this with educational reasons why the child should be wearing the mask and why the parent or the adult should be wearing the mask. Some people may need to be educated on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Edwards. Next up, I have Trustee Busuttil.
Thank you. I think my questions have already been asked and answered. I will be supporting the motions.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Busuttil. Seeing no other questions on my speakers list, Trustee Topping has placed the 4 recommendations. All those in favor?
Come in.
Do I have any opposed or abstentions? Okay, that passes. Thank you very much.